Hi, my name is Cindy Rang.
I'm Brandon Motzkis, and today we're going to talk about temperature quilts.
All right, so welcome. If you are new to our channel, we are a mother-daughter duo. We have a quilt shop in Central Washington State. We've been here for 25 years, and we have a YouTube channel. We have a retreat center. We have a pattern line, and we are making our first temperature quilt. And we are so excited about it that every single staff member is also making one. Yeah, so we're super excited. We did do a kind of how to get started video that I think aired on January 1st, and we'll link that below. You can link that below. And yesterday we did our first live YouTube. I'm going to say it did not quite go well. No. There was a lot of buffering. We're not exactly sure why. And then we saved that video, and even though we were live for 52 minutes,
it only showed for 13.
So, super frustrating.
Yeah. So we're going to do it differently. If you've been watching us and you've been knowing that we're going to do some live sew-alongs as we go through, so we're all kind of committed. We're going to, have a date to get together to do some sewing. We're actually going to do that through Zoom.
Yeah.
Denise has a plug, and we can do it where we can have like 500 people on the Zoom. Again, they're going to host it for us, so I don't have to be the techie person.
Yeah.
So I don't know all the ins and outs about that, but I do know that with Zoom, it's going to be a whole lot more successful than live on YouTube.
Yeah. So the live on YouTube, it kind of didn't work yesterday. For much of the time, people were having a hard time, and we were freezing up, and there was different things. So I don't know how some of the other places do the live YouTube and the live Facebook and the live
all that jazz.
TikToks, but we're going to do it different. We're going to do old school Zoom.
The other good thing is we can record our Zoom meetings.
Yeah.
So then I can edit, cut, and do a little compilation that's like 7 minutes of how it went, what our blocks look like, if we showed and told some blocks. So we'll share it with you. So if you're someone who doesn't want to do Zoom, you can't make it to that time anyways, I'll put something up on YouTube so you guys can just live through us and hang out and still feel like you're a part of the group, even though may have a day job and can't make it to it.
Because what we're thinking in order to be successful is to sew once a month. Collect all of the information. We'll talk about that, recap in just a minute, but collect all of the information, and then we are going to sew together as a group the first Thursday of the month every month.
Yes.
And that's that whole idea, like a Weight Watchers meeting, knowing that your friends are depending on you and that we want to see what you've got done, and we're going to check on you. That's the way to stick with it and get it done. And you don't have to sew every day. You don't even have to collect all the data until the end of the month. Someone else does that for you. And then we'll sew together. So today we're going to do a little bit of a recap. We're going to talk about color selection, and we're going to talk about patterns. And so the other thing, too, that I just want to mention really quickly is that when we do get together on the live shows, we are going to do door prize drawings each time. And we did do that yesterday. What we're doing is we're doing the highest temperature of the day and the lowest temperature of the day, and we want to know where you're from. The reason that we are picking 11 a.m. Pacific time to do our lives, which will be our live Zooms, is because that's the most reasonable time that it's not gross for anybody, because we do have people that are joining in from the UK, we have some Germany, Norway, we have some Australia and some New Zealand, and 11 o'clock Pacific time, the latest time it is for anybody is 9 p.m. and the earliest time it is for anybody is 6 a.m. So that seems to be the most reasonable. And again, like Brianna said, if that's not great for you, it will be recorded, and so you'll be able to just see it this way. But anyway, so let's see. You're going to remember this better than me, but yesterday, the highest temperature yesterday for January, what was yesterday, the 18th, was 75 degrees, and it was
in Arizona, and I believe that was
Linda Robles.
Linda Robles?
Email info@fabricpatch.net and say, hey, I'm the Linda from Mesa, Arizona, or isn't that where it was?
Yeah, and
give us your email, your mailing address.
Because we guys were chatting at the very beginning. We were chatting about temperatures and whatever, so you'll know you're in your chat. That's all I know. Yeah. And then
we don't have your mailing address. We want to mail you your price.
Yes.
So email us, give us your mailing address, and then the coldest temperature was somebody in South Dakota, Lisa Marie.
Lisa Marie. Yeah, it was like negative 33 or something in Montana.
Oh, Montana.
In Big Sky,
Montana. That's right. It was Big Sky, Montana. Yeah. There was a lot of negatives. There was a lot of
that
really
wind chill,
cold.
man.
There was some South Dakotans that were cold.
So shoot us an email. and we'll send you over your little gift.
Yeah.
We'll do that again for February 1st, when our first Thursday in February. It'll just be me. Mom will be cruising in Indonesia. Maybe she'll log on, depending on
Tell you the temp.
what she's doing.
I checked today. It's 72 degrees there today.
What's your humidity?
It's a lot. That's the hair. I'm practicing curly hair.
We'll do that each time. So you'll want to look on your weather app so you can be a part of it. But super cool. Super fun.
Okay, so little update. So now we're going to review everything. So what we had talked about yesterday live and what we just want to review with you is just a little bit the things that we might have already done. So the idea of successfully being able to complete your temperature quilt is, number one, you want to collect your data, collect your temperatures. So a lot of people, I think, are doing the year of their birth, not so much this year. And you can do any year you want. Doesn't make any difference.
No, and the best website I've actually found, because I've had a lot of people who have emailed me and said, hey, can you help me?
I'm too old.
And it was WUnderground.com. Weatherunderground.com is super great. You can pick the month and the year, and it'll tell you everything about it, and even day to day as you keep scrolling down. The only thing is it does do it month to month. So you'll have to do January 1st, print that off, February, print that off, and so on and so forth. But I was able to go back quite a bit. I wish I could remember some of the years I picked out, but that was the best one.
If you have any trouble, email Brianna at fabricpatch.net. She'll help you find
I'll send you a link.
Yeah, because so far you haven't been skunked.
I haven't been skunked yet. Yeah.
So a lot of people are doing year of their birth, which is kind of fun. You can do anything you want. If you're doing, current temps, it's really easy. They not only have all of the information for the coldest temperature of the day, the hottest temperature of the day, they even have precipitation, wind speed. They have all the humidity, all of the stuff that you need to know, that you might want to know. So anyway, collect all of your information, and also I would say go back and kind of look at a range and kind of look at previous years so you kind of know what you're looking at. Because the second part is to decide your range. So I know that for us here in the Pacific Northwest, Central Washington State, we are going to keep track of those temperatures between 0 and 100. Our average daily temperature here is 51 degrees. We have, over 350
I think.
days of sunshine per year here. To think of what the number is. It's high. So lots of sunshine. Doesn't mean that we're not cold. But anyway, average temperature is 51, so we're going to do between 0 and 100. We know some people that have like a 150 degree range because it gets super, super cold, super, super hot. And so decide what that is for you, come up with that number, because then the third step is to decide the increment. So do you want to swap to a new color every 3 degrees? Do you want to swap to a new color every 2 degrees and have it, super colorful? Do you want to keep it fairly muddled and switch to a new color every 5 degrees? It doesn't make any difference. It's whatever you want, whatever your key is going to be.
And you can also start with your fabric. Go through your stash, play along, and say, ooh, I got 35 colors. What is that? That's every 6 degrees or whatever that is. So you can also do it backwards if that's easier for you. And instead of being stuck at, I have to find 36 colors, you can start somewhere and then decide if you like it or not.
Changing it all.
Yeah. Who cares? It's your temperature quilt.
That's right.
And it doesn't have to be readable to anybody else. It just has to be something fun.
It's not going
and
to be
memorable.
a chart that anybody is going to use for science class. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
That's all. Just fun. The other thing is that for a lot of people, us included, you might decide that anything over 100 degrees or over 120 degrees out of your, over 120, nobody.
Hopefully not.
Death Valley. You might do something different, just a fun little picture or a fun little image or a different color. That's what we're doing for anything below 0. We don't want to know what the number is. We just want to know.
Below 0 is one color, over 100 is another. Yeah.
That's right. And so decide your increment and how far apart. So, and again, for us, we are both doing every 3 degrees. We're doing new colors. So technically we need to have 34 colors, and we'll show you how that works here in a second. And then the fourth step is to start to collect your colors. Most people kind of do a full rainbow. I mean, they do their blues, purples, reds, pinks down into the yellows and oranges, and we're going to show you some images here in a little bit. And that's perfectly okay. You can absolutely do a full rainbow, because the other thing that your quilt is going to have is a little bit of a graph, something that'll say this color is this temperature, this color color is this temperature. And so oftentimes in order to really see that and see all that yellow and orange, you know that that means it was over 90 degrees or whatever. And so, the other option, though, is that it doesn't have to be traditional. It doesn't have to be a rainbow. There are lots of people.
Show you one.
That's right. That's right. There's lots of people that are picking just 3 colors, or you know, the one that we showed when we talked about it in our first video was all shades of gray and a little bit of teal thrown in there. Mine is, and I didn't bring my fabric today, but mine is all floral. All it's different shades of floral, but it's mostly pink, purple, blue, and green.
A lot of green.
And a lot of green. There's a lot of green. And it's different textures and different densities of floral. And it doesn't matter because on my graph, you'll be able to know what it is. And it can be any color you want. It can be any style you want. It doesn't make any difference. There isn't anything that is mandatory for it. So anyway, so pick your colors, kind of be looking at those, getting those together. The other thing that people will ask is, well, how do I know how much fabric I need? And that is not an answer that we have for you because it depends on your range. It depends on how often you're going to use the 40 to 43 degree color. It depends on where it is in there. I mean, you really don't know. I don't even know on mine. So I'm trying to start with a half a yard of everything because I feel like for us, we have a lot of temperature often, night and day, between 40 and about 70.
Yeah.
So for there, I have over a half a yard for all of those. For the other outliers, I don't need to have quite so much maybe. But the other thing is how big is your piece? Because we're going to talk about some optional patterns, some different things that we can do. That's what's going to be so fun about sewing with a group of people because you're going to see so many different types of temperature quilts. So it's really vague. So if you're pulling out of your stash and if it's something that, I'm just going to pull one of yours out for a second. If it's something that you know, it's maybe this piece and something like that, and you run out, you know, you maybe you could keep a salvage so you know what it is and you could search the world for it, or maybe take it to your local quilt shop or send a swatch to us and say, can you find me something similar to this, which is perfectly okay. Because remember, this is not, you know, even if it is for a science project and for, you know, it's still close. No one's gonna
and I am fully prepared. I have a few that are in my probably range that I'm gonna need quite a bit of fabric because it's our temperature here. I'm prepared that I might have to go
some substitutes. So that's okay. This is a fun thing, not a science project.
No, and hopefully something that is something you can do out of your stash.
Yeah.
And make you feel better, that you can work from your stash, make this quilt, feel better about yourself, and feel like not so guilty if you buy some extra fabric along the way. So something that you really can. And I had fun sitting in the closet of my sewing room and picking colors.
This was all out of your stash.
There's one piece
that
is not, and I'm still not sold on it, but I got some time to think about it.
Because it's like your 97 plus temperature, right?
It's my 97. It's 3 degrees, so I'm going to use it quite a bit in the world, but I don't know.
You have time to find
I have time.
If you don't like it.
I've got a couple months before I have to even touch that one, so I'm okay.
You got about
5 months?
6 months.
Yeah. So I got some time for thinking.
That's right. Okay, so next, we're going to talk about, maybe we can show the color
and then
show the graph that we'll do, and then we want to talk about some patterns and some options. Because if you have been thinking about doing this, you've probably looked on Pinterest and you've looked on other people's blogs, and there's lots and lots of pictures that are out there. Some are very simple, some are a little bit more exciting, or a little bit
more involved.
And a lot of it just sort of depends. I know that for me, my goal is to be able to get my whole month sewn and finished in like under 5 hours.
Right.
I feel like I could commit to a Saturday morning, or I guess in our case, it's going to be the first Thursday of the month at 11 o'clock. I can commit to that project for 5 hours, maybe a little bit longer. But I think if it's something where it's extensive blocks. For me, that wouldn't work for me because I have too many other things that I need to work on.
She sews too slow anyways.
I sew very slow. I love the process. I just like to sew. Even when I think I'm going really fast, I'm not. So I know what I need in order to make sure that it will work. So, and for you guys, it might be different. It might be something that, you're going to do some extensive things, and we'll show you some things.
And maybe it's something that maybe you've already started a temperature quilt and you just want to do it with a group. Come on in.
Yeah.
If you are working on it and you only made it to April, start with us.
That's right.
We will work along with you, and maybe it'll keep you focused and excited about it.
Yeah. Because it doesn't matter what year.
Who cares?
If you started it in 2020, finish 2020. Yeah. Perfectly okay.
So good.
That's great. Doesn't matter. No one cares.
All right. Let's look at some fabric, and then we'll talk about patterns.
Okay, this is Brianna's color story. This looks just like Brianna. A little more teal here than normal, but...
I'm not going to use it very much.
But the pink and purple, this is all her. And we're going to look at a few quilts, and you will notice that what happens is you want to know for your area where your temperatures are mostly. And what you'll see for a lot of them is you'll see, well, it's kind of cold, and then it's really... we spend our late spring, our summer, our early fall kind of in this range, and then maybe we're up here and it's super, super hot, and then it kind of goes back down. And so, be thinking about that as you're laying everything out, because Brianna's colors that she likes the most are these purples and these pinks. If you are different and what you really like are the teals, you just want to change it up a little bit. Because, let's look at this, and Brianna made hers a little bit bigger, but we do have a graph like this. If you go back to our first video, which is linked below, or maybe even the paperwork is listed on there, we just did just a quick little chart, or you can make up your own, and all it is this just your number of your colors that you have. Brianna has 34 of them, and then she is doing a 3 temperature range. So the 0 to 3, 4 to 6, if it's between 7 to 9 degrees, 10 to 12 degrees, you can see that it goes down. And so you'll want to do that so you have a little color, so you have a little recipe card. And the other way to do it is just to count. So if you're doing 3-degree temperature difference, if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, so this is 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is 60 degrees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is 90 degrees. So then this would be up to 93 to 96 to 99. And this is the color that she's going to use if it's over 100 degrees and over. And this is the one, if you haven't noticed, this is the one that she doesn't know. Yeah, this is the one. This one is the one that you don't like. That's right.
Mm-hmm. I just feel like it's too big of a jump between my
here
orange
and here.
that. Yeah.
See, I like it.
But again, that's my 5 months of hunting. If that is what I have, then it is what I'm going to use. Because I do think it's good. I just, for some reason, think there's something better out there.
I don't know. I like it because what's fun about this one is that, and that really does look like the wavy heat of 100 degrees. And so this is kind of nice, and this has some purple in it. And that to me has a little bit of purple in it. So I kind of like that. But I think what you don't like is you don't like that jump from there to there. So we'll have to see as we go along if you end up keeping that or not, or swapping that out. Because again, of course, at the moment, we are down here. These are the colors we're using. So it'll take us a while to get up there. And then we'll come back down. So again, your colors, it can be anything you'd like. You just need to decide those other things, get your chart together, and then now it's time to look at some quilts. All right, so we're going to go over a couple of patterns, and the thing to remember is that there's lots of different versions out there. I think that the hardest thing is going to be deciding on the
this
pattern.
Step right now. I think you guys are going to have fun with the color. Maybe you already have the pattern picked out and you're struggling with the color. Go to your local quilt shop. Go to your local guild. Have someone else help you. Take your stash with you. So I really want to use all of these.
I need 34.
And someone will help you, because I know the color thing is sometimes your hardest thing. People like kits because I don't like to do the color. I am totally the opposite. I'd rather pick color all day long than actually make something. But but it'll be
shopping. She likes the shopping part.
The shopping part. Yeah, so does my daughter. Yeah. So I have also, being that we have started a Facebook group with the Fabric Patch. It is a public group. You don't have to ask to be in there, probably because I'm a horrible admin. So we're all going to be nice, but come join us. Share if you want to share your color story. If where you're from, share what pattern you're using. It might inspire somebody else to think, ooh, that's the one I want to do. Yeah. Feel free to put links to your pattern if you're doing a purchase pattern.
Yeah.
We'd love to help. I mean, we're all in it together, and I think the easiest way is as a community come together and finish a project together. So if you want to, I'll link the link to our Facebook group below for you, but if you want to join that to help share anybody or get more inspiration that's a little more fine down to what we're doing, join that.
Yeah, because no admin stuff, just come and play with us. It's perfectly okay. And so there are lots of options for things that you can purchase. There's lots of other sew-alongs. It doesn't make any difference. We're going to show you some that are super, super simple and some that are a little bit more involved. Pick what you'd like. It doesn't really matter. I think that one of the most common ones are the ones where they just have some little squares. Yeah. And so we're going to put a picture up on the screen, and there's a couple of versions of this, but this first one is one where you can see it's just the lowest temperature and then the highest temperature, then the lowest temperature, then the highest temperature, and they just go all the way down, and each month is separated by another background strip. What's kind of nice in this particular picture is that when you see black against the color, it makes the color kind of bright. But your background can be anything that you want. The other thing that we sometimes like to use is the grid stuff. If you've been watching us for any length of time, you already know what this stuff is. It's fantastic. You can do whatever size you'd like. And then you could just go ahead and all you're going to do is cut up a whole bunch of squares. And then all you need to do is like putting together a puzzle. Oh, it's 4 degrees and it was 12 degrees during the day. And then it was 4 degrees. And
something
just
you can even do, take a friction marker and write it right on your grid, and then you're just plug in color 1 and 7 and 3 and I don't know.
It could be super simple.
It doesn't have to be hard.
Your other option is to make it into a half square triangle. And on your half square triangle, you've got the cold temperature and the high temperature, the cold temperature and the high temperature.
Very fun.
And another really cool option, you haven't seen this one yet. This was emailed to me from Julia Belt. I love this. This is a half square triangle, and she's got the low temperature and the high temperature, and then she's got a tiny little sash that's separating the half square triangle, and there's a little insert picture where you can see that. And what that tiny little sash is showing you is whether or not it was a windy day, a snowy day, a sunny day, or a rainy day. Isn't that nice? And then, and she also, you can see she used an embroidery machine, and she embroidered on her little chart on the bottom to her key to be able to read it. The other thing that I thought, the other reason that I really liked this is because sometimes I think we want to be able to say that it's somebody's birthday. Or we want to say when the month changes, or we want to have holidays on there. So I love the idea of another little strip in there that means something. So I love that. And then again, it just kind of reads across, and you can see that that's what it was. Is it was the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and then there might be some other block. The only question that I had about that one that I didn't know, that it didn't say, I kind of tried to zoom in because it was obviously one that was at a quilt show. Some of the blocks are going the opposite way. There's 6 of them that are going, I don't want to use the word the wrong way, because maybe twisted. She did that on purpose.
Oh, I do see that on the bottom corner. There's one twisted.
Yeah, and then there's a couple up there. So
was it on purpose?
Or it had to have been on purpose because it happened too many times.
Yeah. Cool.
So I want to know what happened on those days. So
and doing the chart, doing the your key on the quilt, that's something you can decide. You don't have to decide now.
It's going to be a border.
It's going to be a border, or I think I was going to do it part of my label. Because what I'm planning on doing, I just think it's going to be a really cool quilt. And I think on my label, whether I do it on like printed treasures and do it more digital and just, here's my label, here's a temperature quilt, and if you want to read it, here's the key. But I think I'm going to do it as a label instead of part of the border. Because I really just want it to be a fun quilt that maybe it'll be a conversational piece. Or people are like, why did you do that?
Why are those colors touching?
Why are they
2 days that were 90 degrees?
Yes.
And the idea of the half square triangle with the little space in it is kind of cool, but if you want something a little bit more ethereal than that, I really like this one because all it is kind of it's really a more abstract block. So it looks like she just took, and again, I don't really know, I'm just guessing, it looks like she took the temperature, maybe it was the average temperature of the day, and that abstract line was whether it was, again, windy or, snowy or whatever. But I think that she started out with one square and then slashed it wherever she wanted to and put in the little space, and that was maybe the low temperature. So low temperature, high temperature.
And it kind of looks that way because of that whole rainbow effect.
And I love it because I love that. And if you look at that, she has them going all different directions.
Yeah.
It's very confetti looking. I really, really like it. I like that it's just, that you really have no idea what you're going to get.
Yeah, fun and freeform. I think some of these ones are super easy that, if you have a little one sewing with you.
Yeah.
I mean, who cares if that seam was straight?
Yeah,
Nobody.
It doesn't matter. It's not going to matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I like that one a lot too. And Brianna put together a little sample here for us of what it could look like. There's a lot of variety in here. So this is nothing. This is not the certain temperature of a certain month of anywhere. It is just for fun.
Just for fun.
Just to show you because of size. Because this is the 1.5 inch,
1 inch finished.
1 inch finished grid. We sell this grid at the store. And again, if you're not sure what this is,
it's the Easy Piecing 10 Sisters grid.
It's fantastic. And so, so this ends up being a 1 inch finished block, which is kind of nice. So
and
again,
this
if you've got low and high,
30 across. And you can decide however you want to. So, February would start with color, low, high, and it all be separated by at least one solid black piece or purple or whatever your background is. But another fun way, it's a panel and a half to make 30 of them. So depending on, 12 months, you're probably going to need somewhere around 20 panels to do it in your own size. 1 inch finish, it'll be pretty small, more lap size. 1.5 inches, maybe more bed size. 2 inch, ginormous. So kind of decide, that is also something that to consider when you're doing your pattern, picking your pattern, picking your colors. How big is that square going to be? Is it going to be 1.5 inch square or a 2.5 inch square? But
because the other thing to keep in mind is that if you think, oh no, I really want to keep it small, and then you get it done, you go, oh my gosh, I'm totally putting this on my bed. Borders. That's what borders are for. You can add all kinds of things for borders, and you're perfectly okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Let me show you a couple other patterns and there's hundreds. I just picked out a couple of very different ones just because I thought that way we could talk about a couple things. This one is another one that is pretty similar. It's really just the idea, and if you kind of zoom in on that, you can see that it is also offset, which gives it kind of a fun, interesting sort of a wave. And this one, instead of going a horizontal, it's a vertical set, and it is a half square triangle. So I think on one side of that zag is the low temperature, and on the other side of the zig is the high temperature. So again, really pretty. And the other thing that I want to mention is, again, look at that if the primary temperature in your area, you see all of that orange and yellow in the center. So depending upon what color you're starting with, that's why that's the majority of what you see. And you'll see that a lot. And if you go back and look at that other one, you'll see kind of that same idea. The next one, I love this one. I love this. I wish I could mention who it is, or if there's a pattern or whatever. I don't know anything about it. It was something, I think I probably saw it on Pinterest, but I feel like I could really easily do that. It's just, this particular one is little house blocks. And so it looks like we've probably got maybe the main part of the house might be the temperature of the day, and maybe the roof might be the coldest temperature. I'm not sure. It can be whatever you'd like it to be. They've got the little background, but what's really cool about it is it's set up just like a calendar.
That's pretty clever.
I just love that. And I think you could put a little door in some of them when you have something very special, a birthday, again, a holiday, something like that. I love the key along the side that has all of the temperatures with all of the different houses. This one is really well thought out, and I really, really like it. The next one is also a house quilt, and it's, instead of it being sort of shaped like a calendar, this is just a whole bunch of houses. And my guess is that it's probably also horizontal rows.
Yes, I think it goes down
because of the color. You can see that little color story.
The other way, this one's also really easy. I had someone call yesterday regarding this picture, and I think it'd be really easy. You take a rectangle of whatever your choice and do a half snowball. Yeah. So take your little rectangle, take 2 squares, and whoop.
Oh yeah, super easy. A rectangle and then 2 squares, or a rectangle and flying geese.
Yeah, super easy.
Super, super easy. And so once you've decided, make a little practice block, get it to the size that you want. Your other option is just to run it like you're reading a book, you know, and just run it horizontally. And you could put a little tree or something in between the months if there's something that you want to do, but super cute. For those of you that have always had the little house quilt on your bucket list and a temperature quilt block.
2 birds, 1 stone.
Yeah, kind of cool.
Clever.
Yes, I think so too. Let's see. I have to find. Oh, the next one is another one that's real similar. It's basically just what Brianna just showed you. And this, look at the difference with when it's done on a white background.
Yeah.
So kind of fun. And then again, you can just sort of see the temperatures and look right in the center there. So you've got the blues on the top and the bottom, oranges in the middle.
Yep.
So pay attention to that about, you know, where you want those colors to be. The next one, this one happens to be, I could probably find the site if it's something that you're interested in. This one was on an Etsy site, and this was a paper pieced block. And again, I want to just mention again, look at the reds and the oranges in the center of the quilt, blues on the top and the bottom, which I think is beautiful. I think it looks great. You'll see there are 52 blocks here. That's why there's 2 down at the bottom, and she's got that black on the outside edge, which is really cool. And what it is each of these paper pieced blocks are 7 pieces. So each block is a week. And so my guess is that she didn't have a the coldest temp and the hottest temp of the day. She had the average temperature. And a lot of people have done that. I just want the average temp of the day, and I don't want to care about high and low. So perfectly good option. Last one, is it the last one? Yeah, the last one that I have for you. This is from our friend Amanda up in Alaska. And of interesting to note was that yesterday it was 34 degrees. And for us it was 2. Yeah. So it's terrible. We were colder than Alaska.
So weird.
But what she's doing is she is doing a square and a square block. And I've kind of been thinking about that also, because I think there's a couple ways to do this. So she's doing the high temperature in the center, the cold temperature, coldest temperature as her little surround, and just doing it that way. Your other option is you could have it floating, and you could do a half square triangle, so that you had your coldest and hottest, and then you could put background around it, and then you'd have almost like this string confetti. Of pearls.
Cute.
Kind of look. So yeah, I've been that was my other one that I kept thinking. I thought, oh, I love making half square triangles. They always turn out perfect. Square and a square would be great. So
my guess is every month it's going to be a different block for Mom.
I know.
She's going to do a row by row quilt and a temperature quilt and a little house quilt all in the same one.
That is me.
She's going to do pearls, houses, trees, birds with 7 feathers.
Even yesterday, I was trying to figure out how to put a Sasquatch in it. I need it to be trees. How can each day be a tree?
And all separated by
Sasquatches.
Yeah.
And then
she's going to do a row by row temperature quilt.
I don't even know. I will know when I kept thinking I'll know the first day we sew, but truthfully, you're right. By March, I might be. Oh, Lord, that
Which
is
I think will be equally
I think row
cool.
by row is even better.
That'd be
This
really
is
cool.
what I was feeling this month with houses.
And who cares if
It doesn't matter.
when you are all done in December or January, when you're ready to put all of your pieces, all your rows together, more background is going to make it the right size. So if math got a little crazy from you, it's okay. Add more background strips and everybody can be, 50 inches wide.
Yeah.
Yeah, super fun. So, what I'm going to do, since she's doing her row quilt, I'm going to do a
She has made a
block.
decision.
Yeah, I have. This is even my test block. I'm going to do one more test block because I think my center's a little too big. And my center, I'm going to put a little fussy square in there. That will be like a snowflake for January or a heart for February. So that will help change it out. The only dilemma I have if I want to do it by the week to make them kind of this size or make them almost like a 30-inch square and do it by the month. But I'm going to do a cute little pineapple block where my center will just be something to reference the month, and then I'll have my lows for a whole turn, my highs for a whole turn, and so super fun. So that's what I'm going to do and these are going to be 1/2-inch finished strips in here. So a little tiny. My biggest worry with my biggest block is making sure my block slowly doesn't twirl.
Yeah.
But
there's a ruler for that.
There's a ruler for that. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do pineapple blocks.
I think that'll be really, really
I think
fun.
it'll be really
and
fun.
Of course, because my indecisiveness, what I sort of mentioned to her is you could really do, you know, you could do a whole lot more. And it could be, this would be the low temperatures and the high temperatures for 1 week and for another week and another week. And so you really could do a not huge block per month.
And just slim it down to quarters.
I don't know how anybody would ever read it, but again, it's not a science
It's not about
project.
reading it, right?
It's just fun.
And I'm going to put my key, I'm pretty sure, in my label on the back, so it's just a cool quilt to look at. And if you feel like, well, who made this? I'll label
tell
this
you
one.
who. I did, and God.
Yes.
God chose
He chose the colors. He did.
That's
so
right.
this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah. All right, so let's see. Let's recap a little bit. So hopefully you have been gathering some information. You're deciding on your color. The last step, unless you're like me, is to decide on the pattern you're going to do. Get all of those things together. We have some resources for you. Just click on below. Do some visiting with your other quilting friends. See what they've put together, and then we are going to sew together. How will they find the link for the Zoom? Will it be on our website?
I'm going to put it on our website. I'm going to put it on our website. I'm also going to put it on our Facebook group. And I believe, I think Denise was saying it's up to 500 people. So it's going to be like first come, first serve. I don't know any other nicer way to do it. But
Baby found us.
Baby found us. But I'll have it posted when we have that ready. It's not posted yet, but it will definitely be posted next week for sure. And you can find that, save that summer special in your calendar. And then otherwise, if you don't join us, I will cut it all down, and so you can hang out with us on
can hang out, see what progress we've made, see some of the other pictures of what other people are doing, find out some of the temperatures from around other areas, not just our area, which is always kind of fun to hear, and see what everybody is doing. And so that'll be really fun. And it's always going to be the first Thursday of the month.
At 11 Pacific.
11 Pacific, whatever that is for you.
I will try to have the video rendered, edited, whatever, from Zoom, that on Fridays at 11 you can hang out in your sewing room and watch our little clips. So, all
right,
super fun.
Super glad you guys are going to sew with us. Yes. And for those of you that tried to join us yesterday, we cannot apologize enough.
So sorry.
So sorry. Yeah. Thank you for hanging out, and we'll do it again.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for watching our video. We invite you to leave a comment, hit the like button, or better yet, subscribe to our channel so you never miss an episode. You can also visit our Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or Pinterest pages, or find all of those things and our online store at fabricpatch.net.